Okay, CNN and Fox News are not carrying this tonight. So we are just going to hold this and be recorded by Kevin, who covers all of our internet progress over Facebook and our West Mayfield circuit. Our candidates for the year are Brian Cobalt, who is sitting to my right, Wendy Harker, who is sitting to my left, Jason Heaton, who is unavailable, Janet Helbig, who is sitting to my right, Eli Kazanovich, who is sitting to my left,
Hello.
Louis Little, who is sitting to my left, and Jacob Tate, who is sitting to my right, and Robert Tate, who is sitting to my right. Now you have all the candidates. I'm going to say just a little bit about each one, and they are going to come up and face you. If you'd like to ask them any questions, by all means, help yourself. I'm going in order that I introduced them. Brian Cobalt will be the first. He has resided in West Mayfield. He is a brand new candidate. He's resided here for 6 years, raising his family. He's been involved in the Centennial Committee and come to quite a few meetings of the council, and he is getting very involved with civic activities, bright new ideas, and he wants to be involved. Here he is, Brian Cobalt. Your turn.
Okay, well, she pretty much said everything that I put in my bio. Let's go. Where do I start? I was going to write a big speech and this and that, but I figured I was going to
causing problems at 143 Sand Street, 1430.
just go by what just comes to my mind. So, I've been in West Mayfield for 6 years, and my lovely wife brought me to this borough. And her family's been in the borough for 60, 70 years.
Yeah.
She's third generation veteran. So I wanted to get involved with the borough, or the community. And I have some good ideas for bringing new blood to the table. It's time for a change, and I'm terrible at speaking, so let me take questions.
That's the best. Anybody got any questions?
I don't need a hope.
What's your first idea? What's your top idea?
My top idea is I want a community center. I want a community center where you can go to community center with complaints, see what's coming up with the committee, what's on board, where we're going. And you have great ideas. We want ideas from the whole community. So that would be the top one.
Would it be a community center where people could just go and sit and chat?
Right.
Have a cup of coffee?
Yep.
Okay, so I have a lot of questions that will really apply to a lot of the candidates who come up here. So as a council member, do you pledge to be personally responsive to citizens who contact you about concerns and issues, and how would you do that? How would you be responsive to their concerns and issues?
Well, the community center will help with that. The phone, I'll have my personal number, and then contact me 24/7. So, and I will answer calls, like the mayor does. You call her, she answers every time. And if she doesn't answer, she calls you back. We don't have that. We don't have, we have phone numbers now with concerns. Either they go unanswered, nobody knows about them, no communication. It's just a dead end. Anything else?
Well, I have a whole list.
Next.
Okay. So as an elected official, do you feel that you have, would-be elected official, do you feel that you have a thorough knowledge of our borough ordinances And do you have a working knowledge of the Borough Code, the Sunshine Act, the Right to Know Law, and other state statutes affecting local government? And let me just give you a follow-up to that. Many council members and officers sometimes lack knowledge of the laws pertaining to local government. How will you ensure that all borough officials are knowledgeable of the law? Will you support professional training and workshops for borough officials to improve their knowledge of the law?
Well, this can be a learning experience for me. So right now, I'm say green going in. I know some stuff, but I'm currently researching to get better knowledge. But I think with the right candidates next to me, they have a lot more knowledge. There's some candidates that had been in the borough before, which would be a huge help. So my persistency in learning, that's my game. I love learning new things, and I'll learn as I go.
Would you like council to provide professional training for you and workshops?
Oh,
Because they're
absolutely.
available.
Absolutely. Yep. Yep, that's a great idea.
support that, okay.
Yep.
Okay, I got another one.
There we go.
So citizens often complain that council meetings are ineffective, poorly managed, and very often lack follow-up on projects and citizens' issues, and sometimes violate the Sunshine Act. As a council member, how would you improve council meetings?
That's a good one.
I'll give you a follow-up to that. Something else to think of. Will you support professional training and workshops for borough officials on how to conduct effective meetings? And do you support adopting a resolution of decorum that officially prescribes rules and procedures for public meetings, including the adoption of Robert's Rules of Order officially by the borough?
Okay, what was the first part?
Well, do you support workshops and trainings?
Oh, absolutely.
On how to run effective meetings? Because those are available
we need
to
that.
council members.
I mean, yeah, we were definitely deficient in that, for sure.
And do you think the borough should adopt a resolution of decorum, as some boroughs have done in the Commonwealth, that prescribe the rules and procedures of how to conduct a meeting, and also adopting Robert's Rules, which is not required by law, but recommended by the Pennsylvania Borough Associations, but officially adopting that Robert's Rules of Order as the guide for how to conduct meetings? In other words, how
Yes.
motions are handled on the table, yada, yada.
Absolutely.
You support that?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Citizens often express their frustration with we'll look into it responses from council that lead to no action and no follow-up communication with citizens. Do you think council members are lazy and indifferent to issues, or do they lack basic project management skills? As a follow-up, would you support professional training and workshops for borough officials to improve their project management skills?
First part of the question.
Well, do you think council has a problem with project management, and would you support training and workshops that help council members become better project managers?
Absolutely.
That training is available to council members.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. This has to do with community and economic development. The borough currently has no community or economic development program to manage quality of life issues and improve the borough's economic base. Do you support creating a council committee or project to address these concerns? And the follow-up is, the borough is likely to run a budget deficit for the second year in a row. If you were at the budget meeting, you heard that, where expenditures exceed income. What are your thoughts on how council can balance a budget moving forward?
I've only been to one budget meeting, so there's a lot to take in, how everything's set up and what's increased. The budget meeting that I got was from 2022. It didn't reflect any budget changes for 2023.
Right, and that was the only available budget, proposed budget on the website.
But it made no sense, because it was like what you were granted in 23 wasn't on the 22 paper. So it was already changed, and it's like, it was very confusing. So something has to be formatted. What currently are we doing for parks? and that was just very confusing. And if anybody went, I'm looking at the sheet, it just made no sense to me. A lot of things were the same. A lot of stuff, as far as the money was the same, but things that were changed, like for COVID, it did reflect COVID money given for 2023.
Right.
So
We are running the second straight year of a deficit on the budget.
okay,
Something's going to have to change according to our Secretary Treasurer for the 25 budget. That has to be balanced, or there will be flags. I don't know what that means exactly, but that's coming. Official review of fire service. A growing number of citizens have concerns about the professional capability and financial solvency of West Mayfield Volunteer Fire Department to provide the best fire protection for the borough. Do you support an official effort to evaluate the competency and capability of our current fire service, including exploring fiscal, operational, and legal options supporting the adoption of a professional fire service for the borough?
absolutely, without a doubt.
Citizens often feel cynical and disconnected from local government. How would you encourage and create opportunities for citizens to become more involved in civic life and local government? Do you support active participation of citizens on special borough committees, such as a beautification committee or a roadway safety committee?
Yeah, totally support that.
Okay. And how would you respond to citizens who feel that their vote won't matter in this election?
How many citizens?
How would you respond to citizens who feel that their vote won't matter in this election?
Well, look at the current condition of most of the stuff in the borough, like the park. Just drive down through the park and see how old it is, all the stuff that needs fixed. I mean, that park's 50 years old, 60 years old. And just come to a borough meeting. That would probably be the best thing to do and see the deficiencies, what's going on currently.
So would you agree that every vote matters?
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Brian.
Oh, is that it? No more grilling? I'm going to the corner of it.
Yeah, I'm leaving.
Should all have your answers ready. Okay. All right. We're going to move on. Wendy, would you like to answer a few questions?
Oh, yeah, I would.
You've been a resident in the borough. Let me put a little bit about you. I didn't know you were going to be here. So you've been a resident of the borough I slot you in Drew's time.
I moved up here in
53 years?
1960.
Okay.
I left in 63. I moved back in 1980 to 82. I lived on Ross Avenue. In 84 to 86, I lived in the old Mrs. Gaddis store on West 8th. Then 87 to now, I live across the street. Yeah, I've been up here a long time.
Okay. I put him at 53. Are you more or less?
What?
The same as him? It doesn't matter.
He's been here longer.
It's been older time.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
She's been on council for quite a few years. She's been a firewoman for quite a few years. Fire chief. She's also held a Pennsylvania or a countrywide certificate for something in the fire department, hasn't she?
I'm Beaver County Fire Police, so I work all over Beaver County.
Okay. I thought you had an award for
Yeah, I'm
something.
certified state.
State, okay. Anyway, we'll let Wendy take over. Do you want to pose the questions?
Wendy, would you like to just make some remarks and I could ask you questions
You can
if
ask
you
me
like?
questions.
I joined the Ladies Auxiliary in 1987. I have 36 years in the Ladies Auxiliary. 28 years in the fire department. 15 years as the assistant fire chief. 27 years on council. and I have 27 years in Beaver County Fire Police. Questions?
Okay. I'll start with the fire service question,
Yes.
because I know that is probably the most important to you. So a growing number of citizens have concerns about the fire department. Do you support an official effort to evaluate our current fire service competency and capability, excluding the fiscal situation, the operational wherewithal, and any legal issues that we might have if the borough, through council or citizens, should decide to adopt a professional fire service for the borough?
Well, right now with the budget that council has, I don't know how they could afford a paid fire department. What these gentlemen are doing and ladies that are doing in this fire department get nothing. They do it for nothing. Other boroughs, they get paid per month. They get paid per hour. They get $4 an hour. You're not going to get free fire service. They do go to class. They do get certified. 99% of them are certified. At the end of this month, we are taking hazmat because of the trains down here and the train derailment that we went to. So I don't know how this borough is going to afford a paid fire department, let alone they won't have a building or vehicles. So I don't know how you're going to be able to support that.
Okay, fair enough.
Yes.
How many residents are on the fire department right now that live here in West Mayfield?
1, 2, 3, Billy, maybe 10. So right now, everybody is starting to join together because all fire departments are getting so low on manpower. So right now, we were approached at a fireman's funeral here Friday night if we would help another area, I'm not going to say a name, until that's worked out. But there is a Beaver County mutual aid agreement where if we get a fire call, I have it set up who's going to be called here. They would want us to respond and help them. That's how bad it is getting all over Beaver County.
For years, though, didn't we?
Yeah, the mutual aid agreement's been in for, I couldn't tell you how long. But right now, like last December, we had to put out $14,000 in new radios because they're switching everything to digital. So it's going to make it hard because the ones we have right now are only 6 years old. But county wants everything new. So if you don't get everything new, you're not going to be compatible with the 911 center.
And how many actual firemen can fight a fire on your staff right now in this borough?
That live in this borough?
Yes.
1, 2. About 5 or 6.
Who's the other? I know you and Lou. Who's the other?
Yeah, me, Lou. There's Scotty. There's I have to go out and get the list if you want to see the roster.
Just curious, that's all.
What's the difference between being certified and uncertified as far as coming to your house and fighting your fire, and what are you allowed to do as uncertified?
Certain people are afraid to climb ladders, so we don't let them climb ladders because that's a liability.
But does that mean certified? I mean, what's the difference?
They still go to class and get certified through the state. It's a
Are
state.
you guys all certified?
Yeah, we are all certified.
All certified?
Yes, every one of us. We are all certified. And then I have certain people that, like I said, they can't climb ladders, so I don't let them do that. Certain people that can't wear face piece, they don't go in, but yet they're still certified in other things.
Now, if there's a fire, house fire here, do you request like Beaver Falls? Are they called pretty quick?
We request White Township, Patterson Heights, and Chippewa.
Right away?
Yeah, that's my first alarm, yes. Yes.
These questions about the fire service would really be best served at a town hall devoted to the fire service. I understand these
Okay.
questions about it.
Yeah.
So we can move on with the candidates'
Okay.
questions.
There's one question.
So currently, right now, you're on council. What is your position that you are responsible for?
I am the assistant fire chief. I run.
On council.
On council, I'm head of fire and police.
Fire and police.
So as long as I've been on council, I got the borough contract through Chippewa, through White Township, and Beaver Falls contracts for the police coverage up here.
And when was the last time that you gave a report of what has happened monthly to the borough?
I do it every year. At the end of the year, I give Pat a copy, how many miles are in each vehicle, how much fuel, and how many fire calls we do at the end of every year.
Is that something you could possibly do every month when they ask you
Like
during
the police.
the borough meeting? Like they ask the police department?
I can if you want. I can. Yeah, because I do.
The fire department does.
I do it for fire chief's report here every month, but I could also do it for council. But I do at the end of the year. I get a total of everything.
And that's all you're in charge of, is just the fire and police for council duties?
Fire, police, streets. I don't have the boroughs list with me. I'm on other committees back here.
Okay.
Okay, let me move this along a little bit here. I think that kind of responds to the responsiveness question that you will provide a monthly report now.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Knowledge of the law, right? So as I asked Brian, would you feel like you are prepared in terms of your knowledge of the ordinances and the borough code and the sunshine law and so forth? Do you feel like you have a good working knowledge of those laws pertaining to local government?
Now, the only thing on ordinances, I've been on council all this time. I've never, ever had a copy of the ordinances. Never being back here. Now, sunshine law, I know about that. But the ordinances, they always kept that just to that committee.
Okay, the borough secretary has a copy of the ordinances.
Yeah.
Do you pledge to get a copy of that copy
yeah.
from Pat? Okay, that's good to know. The business meetings, right? The way the meetings are handled. Do you agree with a lot of citizens that they can be very cumbersome and drawn out and confusing and so forth? And would you support professional training to improve the business meetings?
From when I joined to now, things has improved, things has changed. They need, from the 1990 up to the 20th century, they need a lot of improvement back here. They're still in their old ways.
Would you support the adoption of a rules of decorum resolution that sets the standards for meetings?
Yes.
Okay. And would you agree to abide by Robert's Rules of Order in that?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Mayor, do we have more time?
I think she had another question. Okay.
Well, I'll say that if we're going to have a separate
No more
town
question?
hall for the fire department, I was just curious to see, like, since you're in charge of fire and police, like, what are the intentions of the money they're going to receive? What do you guys plan on doing with the money you receive from the train derailment?
So far, we spent $13,000 on the bus outside. It still needs a few more $1,000. Our squad, it's leaking diesel fuel. The brakes are locked up. We have to look for a replacement vehicle. Right now, I have to replace gear. It's $5,000 per set of gear. So there's a lot of things that we still have to replace from the money from the train derailment. But right now, we put out $13,000.
And once you do that, is that going to be in a report that is readily available to everyone? Show what kind of money you received and where the money went?
Yeah, most of it. And they said that we could use it wherever we want. But it's going to be up to the chief, the assistant chief, and our lieutenants. But right now, we've already put $13,000 just in that bus out there because it did a lot of damage to the heater, the air conditioning. I have the report here of everything that they even fixed on it. So, and then also we put out $14,000, like I said, for radio communication. Nora?
Will this money stay for West Mayfield Fire Department? Because And White Township is like the.
Oh, they don't get
They're
none,
separate.
that's separate.
That's
We
separate.
just,
Okay, I just.
everybody, it's mutual aid. What money's here is our money.
They're
We don't
part of
get,
our fire department, so that's why.
yeah, they don't get none of this, we don't get none of their money. So it's, the money's all separate. Yeah.
Could I say something?
Well, Mayor?
Mayor, could I say something?
You're up next. If
Well,
Wendy's not
to this
here, still
question-
to the, okay,
to this
good.
question.
To the question.
Okay, to this question.
Question there too.
Oh.
I'll move out of the way so people can see.
Okay, thank you, Wendy.
Uh-huh.
Well, my question for Wendy is, since you've been on council so long, what do you think is your biggest accomplishment, or what you would brag about what you did?
Trying to keep
for West
it,
Mayfield?
trying to keep the fire department going and police department, the
But
police,
that's not the council's job.
He's talking about
The fire
council.
department is the fire department.
yeah.
What have you done for the borough of West Mayfield that you want to brag about?
Police coverage, I had to go through all this. Regional police, I went through meetings for that. And we did away with Chippewa because this borough couldn't afford $120,000 a year. So I had to go find out another police department to cover this here.
And your taps.
I got, the first year I was on council, I got 5 tap-ins. So I'm trying to keep police coverage in this borough. And right now, it's not looking good again. I'll let you all know, they want to go to regional police. New Brighton, Falston, Doherty, Pulaski, Eastville, Big Beaver, us, and Beaver Falls. This $75,000 isn't going to cut it. The mayor says we're only paying pennies. For us to have one member from this borough on the board through Beaver Falls, she said you better triple it. So I'm looking for other police contracts right now.
Which mayor?
Beaver Falls mayor.
Oh, okay.
Me and Lou's been going to regional police meetings for 1.5 years. And I know we can't afford what she wants.
I thought you were meeting with this supervisor.
He goes along with the mayor. He's the one pushing it. And there's no way we can afford that much money when our budget's already blown out.
Okay, Mayor, let's move on to the next candidate,
Okay.
please. Everyone will have a chance to ask questions of all the candidates during this meeting.
Okay. Our next candidate is a person that I had the honor to go to school with.
Oh, no.
So it's Gina Helbig. She's been on council before. You may all know her. She was raised in Beaver Falls and graduated from high school with me. She's married to Randy, who is here. And her kids played ball in West Mayfield, and they're both retired from the United States Postal Service. Ooh, good.
Okay, I haven't worn heels for a long time, so don't keep me up here too long. Okay, what do you want to know? What do I want? Do you want to know what I want to do?
You want me to answer the questions? You want me to ask you some direct questions?
About myself.
Yes, tell us about yourself.
Well, I really do love living here. I love living in West Mayfield. My boys played here. My oldest son's 44, so we've been here like forever. The only thing that's frustrating me now is nobody's working together. So there is no community. It's separated. There's council, there's park, there's fire department. There's like no in between. Nobody's together. It used to be together.
So as a
years ago.
As a council member, what would you do specifically to encourage community coming together?
Well, I love what you're doing with the website because it's bringing more people out and they're going on there and stating how they feel. Normally, most people don't come to council meetings. Either they can't or they just don't want to. And you don't get a lot out of them.
And what would you do as a council person?
As a council person?
Yes. You can praise me all you like.
Gee, I don't know. I really don't know, Kevin. I don't. I mean, besides what I do normally, I mean, we start something like Trunk or Treat or the Jubilee and just go around and ask people if they want to get involved. That's like it.
Yeah, I think that's very important, right? For a member, elected official of council to be out there, to be in the public, to represent, right, the municipality, which goes back to the question of responsiveness of citizens, right? How would you be more responsive to the citizens of this borough in ways that you feel that other council members, other elected officials have not been responsive? How would you do it?
When I was on council before, I was on ordinances. So ordinances drive me insane. I drive around the borough every day. If I see something, it just drives me nuts. So, you know, having someone to be a good code enforcer would help immensely. We used to go to the people's house, knock on the door, introduce myself, see what the problem is, tell them what the problem is, give them their time limit, like say it's grass cutting, give them a week. Unfortunately, if they don't do it in a week, then they're getting fined. So a lot of people didn't like me for that. But most people I really didn't have a problem with. Mostly towing cars away was the worst thing. As far as keeping up with our property, they were usually pretty good.
Would you support a policy on council, maybe as formal as a resolution, where council members are strongly encouraged to respond to citizens either through email or phone call, however, within 72 hours?
Yeah. I answered my phone 7 days a week, 24/7. I mean, my brother would come in from Maryland and I would get a call and I would take it and run out and see what it was. And he was like, why are you doing that on a weekend? But it's better to do it right then and there.
Okay, and would this be something that you would sort of pledge to put a motion on the table at a future council meeting to adopt?
Oh, sure. I just love doing that.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. But really, I just want us to work together.
As a prior council member, let me ask you the question about economic development in the borough. And there is no plan. If I'm wrong, correct me on that. There seems to be no plan for economic development. Could you get behind some sort of momentum or initiative to look into how do we increase our tax base? Going back to the budget deficit, right? We're not increasing our income in that regard. So bringing in new businesses and that sort of development would move us. Would you support that sort of initiative?
Yes. Okay. I'd love to do some. I'd love to have a walking trail at the park, but I think that's been talked about since Jim Toy was
years.
Yeah,
20 years.
Many years.
Yeah, it was just the.
But we really do have a beautiful park.
It's come a long way compared to before.
So and I do like the community center idea also. I kind of wish we would have bought Dick Clue's house and we could just do everything there. Because it's close to the park, we could have built a little bridge. And, it would work.
So as a longtime resident, you and council member, you've had dealings with the fire department?
Yes.
Would you support an official review of our current fire service in terms of its adequacy, its future? Whether that decision leads to maintaining the status quo or moving towards a professional fire service, would you support that effort to look into the matter?
Yes.
As council?
Yes.
Okay.
But I've always supported them. I mean, when I was on council last time, they needed new radios and, we got them new radios. So, but back then we worked together. It doesn't seem to be that way.
Okay.
Anything else? Any questions?
How would you rate your knowledge of the borough ordinances, which are all online, by the way? Well, at least those that have been digitized are online on the borough website, and the borough code. We fostered a workshop all about the borough code, which many in this room did not attend. Unfortunately, the Sunshine Act, the Right to Know law, these are all things that really do matter to local governments. Do you feel like you have a good working knowledge of those laws?
I do. I do.
Okay. Do you think council as a whole has a working knowledge, and would you support workshops and professional training to increase their knowledge of those laws?
The whole council?
The whole council. As
No,
a
I
body.
do not think they feel that way.
Do you think the council would benefit by having
Yes.
training?
Yes. Because everyone that's on council should be available in the whole entire community to everybody that lives there. You know, it shouldn't just be like, call this one for this and call this one for that. We should all be available.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions? Oh, I'm done. Thank you.
Thank you, Janet. Okay, we're next going to hear from Mr. Eli Kusanovich. Eli was here since 2011. He is very intelligent. He is also part of Lou's Constable. That's profession. Okay, thank you, Janet.
No problem.
Former career as a sales engineer, fire sprinkler system designer, software designer, and law enforcement. Skill instructor, he is still active. He's been on council for 6 years. Currently serving now, and he is one of the incumbents. So we'd like to welcome Mr. Kusanovich.
That was my dad. I'm just Eli.
Mr. Eli.
That's gonna hurt. This getting old stuff sucks. Okay, so about 7 years ago, I started going to council meetings, and I went to council meetings, and then I ran for council. Right off, I knew that I didn't know a damn thing about municipal government. So I found out this group called the Local Government Academy. It's a big Pittsburgh group that teaches what they call the LEOC, Local Elected Officials course. Laid out about $400, spent about 6 weekends all over the Pittsburgh area, taking a class to learn about being a local official. So I found it very interesting that Kevin was talking about, would you support these programs? It's the Local Government Academy in Pittsburgh. You can Google it. The LEOC class that's going to be coming up now because everybody's going to get elected to a council position or a township supervisor position or even a mayoral position. You take this class, they're professional government employees, like Mick Jones from Beaver Falls. He was one of the instructors. These are people that run cities, that run townships, that run big municipal organizations as a profession. And they'll teach us little, tiny, small town people about what Kevin was talking about, the Sunshine Law, Title VIII, the Pennsylvania Borough Code, all that stuff. That class is available to you. Yeah, now it's about $500, but they've got this cool little scholarship program that'll cost you only half of that. But again, you've got to give up 6, 8 weekends to go and get educated. So I did that. So when I sat down to start as your elected rep 6 years ago, I knew what was going on. So yeah, I took the time to get this education to do the job for you. Election came up, I lost, we had to thought it was going to be a coin toss. Where's Jeff at? We didn't toss coins, we had to dig for wooden nickels. So I was out, Jeff was in. Monica wound up leaving, so the position came up and I went back in. I think that was April last year, or May, something like that. But yeah, so I was back at it. So and I'm still at it. Last course, I was on ordinance committee, and I'm like, well, where's our ordinance? Chris Lemon had a book with the ordinances written. They were typewritten sheets. Like, there were photocopies of typewritten sheets that you could tell it was typewritten because the periods and everything, and it was typewritten, so it was ancient ordinances. I scanned them in, PDF'd them, put them onto a CD so that people could see what the ordinances were. Those were only the ordinances that Chris carried around with him as code enforcement. I raided the cabinet and found a couple other ones that I copied and put in and distributed among everybody. But our ordinances are ancient. They are literally ancient. A lot of other communities in Beaver County, you go on their website and their ordinances are there. It's kind of cool because you could copy, paste, exchange whatever borough for West Mayfield Borough, and poof, you've got a really nice boilerplate legalese ordinance that could be adopted. Because our solicitors were going to charge us a nominal hourly fee that lawyers make to do the same thing to update our codes. Our borough codes were written at a time where people were ashamed if their neighbors would come over and say, hey, your grass is high, or hey, you got garbage out here, or hey, clean this up. Oh, okay, I'll do that, I'm very sorry. They don't have much teeth to it. So we sort of have to do the update, because you can't just go up and complain and say, hey, do your stuff, do your stuff, do your stuff. And do this, they'll be like, or what are you going to do? And our ordinances are so old, it's really kind of tough to have to take them down to the magistrate, and the magistrate says, well, yeah, okay, and the ordinance says I can jail you for 3 days or fine you $100. Nobody's going to get jailed for 3 days for not cutting their grass. That's just not going to happen. But there are other ordinances that truly come out and say if you don't do it, you're going to get fined, and the fine we can collect and do that. But then till the time it takes for him to drag them into court and get it scheduled, it's going to drag on and on and on, and maybe get a couple bucks. But yeah, the ordinance needs updated. So. Trying to go down the list that Kevin was asking everybody else.
Do you want me to ask you a few questions?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So knowledge of the law, right? It's a fair and I think an objective observation that you have probably engaged more of these trainings available to council members than anybody else, at least I'm aware of. Yeah. And I think that's a good thing. In terms of your fellow council members, yeah. How would you, in what ways would you encourage them to take advantage of these trainings?
Google LEOC, Google Local Government Academy, sign up for it, go take it.
No, I mean, my question is specific. How would you, we all know it's a good idea. We all know that it's available. We all know that council members benefit from those trainings. You are benefiting from those trainings. Yeah. How will you get your fellow council members to take advantage of those trainings?
They're adults. Here it is. Do it. Oh, you're not going to do it? Okay. It's adult education. You can't force people to do stuff. It's America. Can't do that. Y'all have free right. So if they're going to do it, great. If they don't, what do you do?
Well, let me give you an example of what you could do. If there is a training where there is a tuition involved, nominal, right, not covered by the borough already. Yeah. Would you put a motion on the table to make those monies available for council members to take advantage of that training? In other words, hey, $100 a pop, $700.
We're only $100,000 in the hole. Yeah. I don't know. It's there. I can't force people to do it. If they don't do it, if it's that tough that they can't come up with the money for it, I mean, granted, yeah, we're going to make that $100 a month. Cool, yeah, I paid mine off by doing it, but yeah, I don't know. If somebody is that strapped that they can't afford the $250, I don't want to stick the borough with it. I'll cover you. But you damn better go to the class. You know, because you got to pay that money up front, and if you don't show up, they don't really care because they took your money already. That's a big difference between going to grade school and going to any adult education. They'll take your money the day one, and if you don't show up and you don't learn, that's on you. But if my fellow candidates can't afford $250, but they can afford the weekends to go all around the Pittsburgh area to sit in this education to get this learning, yeah, I'll cover it for you. So.
Can I ask a question? Yeah, can I ask a question? Why aren't there requirements for council members to acquire continuing ed credits each year? I have to in order to collect taxes.
Right.
Why don't council members have to do that?
Take that up with your state representative to change Title VIII of the Borough Code. The Borough Council is an elected position. Your congressman doesn't have to have anything. Your senators don't have to have anything. Your president just has to be 35 years old. You hold a special fiduciary required position. That could be why it is, but I'd imagine that's also found somewhere in Title VIII that some legislature wrote that you have to get continuing education training.
But I don't believe there's anything in the Borough Code that would prohibit council from establishing its own standards of professional education.
Exactly.
Would that be something that you would support, and maybe you could even work towards identifying every new council member should go to how to run a meeting, you know, yada, yada. And so there's a prescription of education trainings that every council person should have as they go through their tenure. Is that something that you would support?
I guess. The other thing is, one of the other roles that I have for the borough is I'm the Deputy Emergency Management Coordinator. This is all Billy Heaton's fault. He suckered me into this, and yeah. Hey, dude, why don't you come and help me? Okay. The Emergency Management Coordinator, the Emergency Management Service for West Mayfield, our responsibility is to be here to handle emergencies that the borough is not able to handle in their normal course of business, i.e. the train derailment. A couple years ago, we had a train derailment crossing the Beaver River. One of the tank cars that rolls right in front of the tracks, right on the edge of our town, as it was crossing the Beaver River, burst into flame. It was ethanol alcohol, and that candle went on for, I think, a week. You ain't putting out a train fire, tankers and tankers of ethyl alcohol. That train rolled right past us before it got to the Beaver River. God forbid that catches fire right here. Yeah, okay, that's what emergency management's all about. There ain't no fire department anywhere that can handle that alone. They had firefighters everywhere coming and doing that. We're there for that. If there's ever a big disaster, a big storm, big winter ice, something or other, if it reaches a certain dollar threshold of damage, the county can declare a disaster. The governor can declare a disaster. If multiple states declare a disaster, FEMA money comes pouring out. The only way FEMA money comes to West Mayfield is if we submit all kind of reports. Billy did this for a snowstorm. I'm thinking it was probably the early 90s, whatever that big honking, the 93, whatever big snowstorm. We had all this stuff. Billy did all kind of FEMA mandated reports that were submitted. I'm guessing Paul signed off on a disaster declaration, because that's one of the things that the mayor has to sign off is the disaster declaration. Do all the accounting, find out, hey, what was all of our expenditure for snow plowing, all this, submit all this stuff to county submits it to the state submits it to the Fed. We got some money back because your emergency management coordinator did the job. Whole reason I'm bringing this thing up, part of the emergency management coordinator is every municipal council member and mayor has to do basic online IS 100, IS 700, or basic
NIMS.
independent study level 100 and 700, two different little basic classes. You sit there, you listen to some government bureaucrat going on and on, take a little quiz, blah, 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 you do it. We're required to collect that and have that on file so that should the FEMA people want to audit us. Oh yeah, our municipal leaders did that.
Is that yearly?
That's a once and done. So once
You have to do it, if you get reelected, then do you have to do it again for the
you've
next
done it
term?
once, you've done it once and done.
Okay. So anybody
We've asked for that, and it didn't get done, and we've asked for it, and it didn't get done, and we've asked for it, and some people had it done, and yeah, but literally, and that's a free class, you can go online and do it. Yeah, it's a pain. It's a couple hours you'll never get back to listen to somebody talk, and you got to do it, and it still hasn't been done. So. Yeah, I can understand that people don't want to go off and take a bunch of other classes when we say, hey, we really need this. Still not getting done.
So anybody who's new is now going to have to take that, what you're
That's
talking
been
about.
that way since 2001.
Yeah, even the ones
since
that are
FEMA
on
came
council
about.
has to do it, that haven't done it yet. They should have done it too by now.
Yeah.
Who keeps track of that?
Bill.
Where's that?
Billy
Bill.
does, yeah.
Huh?
How do we know who's completed that?
I got it.
That's a Bill thing. Bill keeps track of that.
Okay.
But yeah.
I have a question.
Since you took all of these courses, Eli, did you get a certificate?
Yeah.
And is it something that if they can't afford the 250 or the 6 weekends, that's something you could possibly teach them?
Theoretically, I could.
You know, I mean, if that was an option.
Theoretically, I could, but
I was taking.
I'm a law enforcement skills instructor. I can
Yeah.
teach you handcuffing, defensive tactics, baton use. I can do all that stuff. I can't teach you the way that a professional municipal employee would teach a class. I know what the sunshine law is. Can I teach a class on it? I could probably spend 6 to 8 hours trying to put together a lesson plan.
But it's something you can familiarize themselves with. If they had a question, they could come to you and ask you, since you're.
They can come and ask me.
Yeah.
They can go take the class.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay.
Wouldn't you think it would be a good incentive for them to go ahead and pay for the course? If they finish, then maybe reimburse them by the council by 50% or.
Well, again,
that way they would
that
do
company
it.
that company's offering a scholarship. They'll cut half the price off, so it's down to $250. If they want to do it and they finish it, yeah, great. I'll give you the $250 back.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That would be more of an incentive for them to have it done.
you need to incentivize people, but whatever. Got something more for me?
Okay, yeah.
Because I could stand up here and bullshit for
Let me ask you
days.
one more question and we'll move on to other
I
candidates
got
here.
one other little point I want to.
Okay.
I won't even bother about it.
Okay, sure. Okay. So this goes back to participation in local government, getting citizens to be more involved. There's one concrete way we can do this, as I mentioned earlier, is inviting citizens to be on, and the borough code does not prohibit this at all, inviting citizens to be on committees, whether ad hoc or standing committees, in some way, some fashion, right? Opening that up as an opportunity for citizens to be involved. Is this something you would support and actively work towards? In particular around, and I know you're on the streets committee, so roadway safety is probably a committee that would benefit, where citizens could really greatly contribute to the borough. I look at our High Street folks here. If those folks were on working with you all, council, on the safety issue there, speeding, do you think that would be beneficial, or would you encourage something like that?
I guess. The High Street issue, it's speeding. It's a bad behavior. It's an issue that our police department has addressed. The only other option we've realized is closing down High Street. So, I mean, but we can have committees, we can have people come in and tell us, and we did have people tell us, and we went to the police, and the police can't do anything. even though I went to this class and I'm kind of familiar with the criminal law, Title 75 that the cops handle, there's not a magic thing we can produce to stop bad behavior. So committees can come and talk and share, and we welcome that, which is how we got all the stuff down here. What's the street? Chrissy, Rock. Yeah, Rock. We found out about that. We had video on that. Yeah, that was great. We got that. We got an LTAP guy in, PennDOT road engineer to come in and give us a suggestion. So we have that down there. But yeah, I welcome citizen participation. Again, it gets to be a point of frustration because, well, there's really no magic solution we could pull out. So, but I'm always welcoming citizen input.
Okay, that was the point of my question, whether you would support and encourage the involvement of citizens.
Absolutely.
Where you end up, I don't know, but
yeah,
you know, if you don't go there, then
always welcome citizens, because I'm one set of eyes. I'm one borough resident. That's one house out of 530. So yeah, okay, there's 529 other households.
Okay, let me ask you a follow-up question to that specific terms. There was the borough solicitor was going to write in a resolution that allowed for citizens to be involved, right? And that has been since September. So will you pledge to bring that up again and make sure that that happens? Because apparently that's what has to happen for this citizen involvement to happen, according to the solicitor. He has not done this. So is this something that you would support, encourage our solicitor to actually put on the table so you all can vote for it?
Right,
because
yeah.
apparently the citizens can't be involved unless that happens.
Yeah, the whole creation of a committee, a citizens committee, kind of like a Parks and Recreations committee.
No, this was
a creation of some pseudo-government citizen committee requires a legislative move on behalf of council.
Yeah.
And we can't just say, oh yeah, let's do that. There needs to be the paper trail that goes into the minutes, which creates an ordinance.
So that needs to be done. Will you support that?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Thank
Good
you.
enough.
Thank you, Eli. Okay. We have 3 more to go. Good. Okay, I think we're going alphabetically. Louis, you ready to talk?
After Eli, thanks.
Well, you know what? Make it quick. All right.
After Eli, everything is quick.
Louis been in the borough for 53 years, on council for 18 years. He's been a fireman for 39 years. I think I said all this for Wendy, but that's okay. Ditto.
Fine job.
Do you support everything Eli and Wendy just did?
Yes.
And Brian, okay. Any questions?
By acclamation, you're done.
One thing I want to bring up, when Wendy was up here about the fire department, when we went on that call, there's only 2 fire departments that run rehab in this area, on the side of the state. And that's Baden and then West
Conway
Mayfield.
and
Conway, Baden. When this train derailment happened, Conway, we were both called. Conway will not go out of the area in Beaver County here. West Mayfield, we go through this county, Allegheny County, West Virginia, we go to Ohio, we go everywhere. On this train derailment, West Mayfield was right there, exactly on the scene. And that's why we lost our squad and so much damage to our other equipment. And that's one of the reasons we got so much money to replace that. But I wanted to get that straight. West Mayfield was right there. How long were you guys on scene for?
Oh my God. Well, we were there, I think, 6 to 8 hours, and then they told us to evacuate. And they told us to go 1 mile away and stage, so we did. We went there, we moved away, staged until they told us it was okay. So we really don't know because we were giving bottles of water out, doing all kinds of things out there. We were right at Leak's gas station.
Okay, let's keep the fire department questions for another time. Let's get back to the candidacy questions here. Now, Lou, you've been president of the council for
2 years.
2 years.
Yes.
So you run the meetings, and a lot of citizens have expressed dissatisfaction with how the meetings are run. Okay, so do you support professional training and workshops on how to run more effective business meetings? And would you support a resolution of decorum that defines the duties and obligations of how these meetings should be run?
Yes.
I know you don't like to run those meetings. I don't blame you. Yeah.
I got stuck with president. I didn't want president. I have too much other stuff going on with the fire department plus council that nobody would step up and take president. Nobody ever would. So that's why I said, well, I'll take it.
Along those lines, let me ask you this question, and for those of you sitting on the panel there, also consider this. The Borough Code allows the president to be removed from that position by a vote at any time because you serve at the pleasure of council. Do you support that action when there is frustration with any president, beyond yourself, okay? Moving forward, if there's a problem, would you support, encourage, let's change president so we can have a better, more effective situation here?
100%.
Okay, thank you. Economic development, Lou, we have no program. Is this something that you could get behind to support some effort to look at how we can bring businesses into the community, how we can increase revenue in that regard?
Yes, I agree to that.
I think I would understand your position on the fire service question, but let me just be clear. Would you get behind an official borough review of the fire service and lay the cards on the table and answer the questions that citizens have and then see where you stand?
Yes, I would.
Okay. That's a fair question. Okay.
I'm proud of our fire department. We've got a good fire department here.
Okay.
And, well, I was already approached about going in by 3 other fire departments in case they do bring a paid department in here. And I told them we really don't want to do that, that if that would happen, then we will merge with them. That's everything we have. We own everything in this fire department. That's all goes. Money, all goes. We get a call across the street, say if it was White Township, which wouldn't be White Township, that if we got a fire right across the street, we can't answer that call because we're not West Mayfield Fire. We would either be Patterson Heights or Township, or we'll be Chippewa. And I just wanted to get that clear.
What do you mean it goes? The equipment goes, the money goes, what does that mean? Goes where?
It goes to
We
where
give it
we
away.
join.
Oh, okay, that's, I was just trying to figure that out.
Yeah, and this would be, say if it was which is not going to be White Township. If it was White Township, we would on Gordon, this would be Station 2, White Township.
Oh, okay.
You know.
Okay, Lou, I asked candidates questions about how they would be responsive to the citizens and the knowledge of the law and effective business meetings, and we talked about trainings and workshops as being beneficial. Is that something that you would support across the board, wherever there are deficiencies in council? Hey, let's become more knowledgeable, let's bring in trainers, let's get training ourselves. Would you support that?
Yes.
Okay.
We should have done that years ago.
Should have done it years ago.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Several.
Okay.
I'm sorry, excuse me.
Yes.
So the last 2 years that you've been president,
Yes.
would you say that you hold your other council members accountable for their departments that they're running? Like, to make sure that a tree gets cut down appropriately, rather than it taking 6 months for multiple over and over and over meetings before things get accomplished? I mean, moving forward, would you hold them accountable to make sure that they get their tasks accomplished by whatever they get voted upon at those meetings every month?
Yes.
I mean, it hasn't
Best
been.
I can.
I mean,
Can only go so
over
far.
the course of the last 2 years, would you say you've had more in compliance with your guys' decisions, or it keeps dragging on and on and on and on?
I don't know how to answer that.
You know, I think the minutes would show for that every month, the
Yes,
same
I
problems
agree to
were
that,
coming up.
yes, yes.
So Lou, I asked one of the candidates if they would support a policy where council has to respond within 72 hours of a citizen call, complaint about something. Is that something you can get behind?
Yes.
Okay.
I get all kind of calls, and as soon as I get them,
Would you support that in the event that the council members do not do what they're supposed to do after, say, 3 times of being asked, that they get removed from that position and put into a different position?
yeah, we could do that.
I mean, if you can't take care of the streets, then maybe you should go somewhere else. If you can't take care of the parks, you should go do something else. Let somebody else manage that department instead of continually the same habits happen.
Yeah, we could do that. Yes. Well, I was going to say something, I don't know what it was. Go ahead, Kevin.
Okay. That's all the questions I have. If you want to say anything else, but that's all the questions I have.
No, I'm good then.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Oh, one other thing.
Okay.
Okay, Eli.
2 days ago, I was approached by a very good friend of mine who lives in West Mayfield. And he come up and he asked me, he says, Lou, who should I vote for? I told him, I said, we got 6 good people running. I said, you can't go wrong no matter who you vote for. And that's the way I feel about it. So I just wanted to get that clear. All righty, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
There's 8.
Thank you. Well, no, about the time of the 6th. I forgot about the write-ins. Sorry, Brian.
That's okay.
Okay, thank you, Lou.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Okay, now we're moving on. I'd like to welcome one of our newest ones that I swore in about a year ago. I went to school with this guy.
No, you didn't.
You're on the wrong page. He's not a schoolmate.
What? You did not.
I was his teacher. He has so much energy. Great to work with. He has the whole park to just romp every day. Flies from here to there. It's great working with him. He has 2 kids. He lives down near the park. He drives every toy Tonka ever made. Big. Does a lot of work. And he is running as a write-in. His name is Jacob Tate. I'd like you to give him a warm welcome. You're welcome, student.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jacob Tate, and I'm running for the 2-year write-in ticket. Last year, well, I guess I could say I've been in West Mayfield now for 35 years, 36 years. I actually just had a birthday. I am raising a family here. I've got Jocelyn and Addie back there, my wife Stacy. Together we work as a team, and we get a lot of stuff done, as much stuff as we can, down at the parks. I was interested in this position, I guess, because when I worked I actually worked for West Mayfield Street Department at one point in my life. I had just gotten out of the military, and I was looking for something to do, and I like running heavy equipment, so I picked that job up. I learned a lot. At that point in time, I guess I wasn't ready to run for council. I was still young, but I seen a lot of issues, and that stuff kind of stuck with me. As many times as I've gotten away from West Mayfield, I've always come back to West Mayfield. I traveled a lot through the military, but I always came back here, and that type of stuff just kind of stuck with me. I worked with a lot of different people that are here today, and some of them that are not. And I've learned a lot from those guys. They always had different tasks for us to do, and I could say that back then things were definitely different. The way they handled the street departments and things like that. They would come to us with any of their issues and give us tasks, and those things would get completed. But recently, things have been a little more challenging, and I guess that's the point in time where I decided, you know what, it's time for me to get on council and take this place back to where it either was or take it further. And I have. I mean, I've started working with the mayor. She came to me one day. Like I said, I've only been on for 1 year now, and I took Mr. Bill Sepp's position when he decided to move to Florida. So I was not voted in. It was basically a council vote, and I got in by the luck of the draw. But I ran with it. As soon as I got some authority to make some decisions, that's when it was time to start working with people. I've worked with all these guys at the table. I mean, I've done plenty of walks with Eli. Anytime anybody had any questions, I've got a big background in, like the mayor said, Tonka toys. That's what I do. I play with big machines. So I'm well versed in streets. I'm well versed in machinery. I'm well versed in buildings, equipment, basically everything that council has to offer. Now I can help push people along the way and help them make the right decisions. In the last year, we've done a ton of stuff, a lot of different events, trying to get the community back together. And because of that, we're doing things like this today. We're all standing here and we're all, learning about each other. You guys got to see what you're going to vote for. And we've got to make a change. A lot of the stuff that Kevin has brought up so far tonight about putting motions on the table for certain things like getting more education. When I first came to council, I didn't know what was available to me. There's no one that just sits down in front of you and says, hey, Jake, these things are available. You should go do these things. Those are things that you just start to pick up on. As easy as it would be to say, yes, I'm going to do that. I'm going to go take all these classes. I work 2 full-time jobs. I own my own business, and I run a crane as well. I'm also doing a lot of stuff with the mayor and all the other community people that are helping. Would I like to take these classes? The answer to that is absolutely, I would. Could I get some extra time? That would be fantastic.
Second Tuesday of last
So yes, to answer that question, yes, I would definitely do that. As far as looking into the Sunshine Act, Robert's rules, things like that, I think that is a fantastic idea. These meetings take way too long. They're very unorganized. Wipe the slate clean and just, even if we don't go through with the 100% Robert's rules or whatever else, there's something that has to be done. We've got to have some sort of structure. We got to be able to just get through these meetings. And I don't want to push anybody aside because there's a lot of things that are very important that we need to discuss. But there's a lot of things that I don't care what happened back in 1947 to Mrs. So-and-so's pink mailbox. Some of that stuff needs kind of weeded through and just, focus on the task at hand. If you guys have any questions for me, please let me know, and then I guess we'll go to Kevin. Anybody got anything?
What would be your ultimate position on council? I know right now you're Parks and Recreation. Would you rather be like streets or something since you're so familiar with that? Or?
You know what? I think that I would like to help with all of those things. I took on parks this year, and I've had a blast kind of running through there and trying to spruce it up. And I think we've done a very nice job in the last few months. We do need some help, that's for sure. And that's not our fault as a community. It's on the borough. We've got a lack of workers right now, and the workers that we had before must have had other things going on to where they couldn't help. But to answer that question, I would say I wouldn't mind being on streets, maybe building and grounds. I don't want to walk away from parks because I've got things that I want to do there. I don't mind helping out on anything. And I don't think anybody should be really forced away from anything. At any point in time, these guys, I'm not on streets and I'm not on building and grounds at this very moment. But they can come to me at any time and say, Jake, what type of chainsaw should I buy? It's happened. I will happily work with you. Just because, we have all these different things doesn't mean I can't be involved with it. And I think that, it's a good idea for all of us to work together.
Yeah.
But to answer your question, I guess if I had to pick, streets, building and grounds, and parks would be my ultimate. I don't know a whole lot about ordinances. I wouldn't mind learning a little bit more. Currently, I am serving on the parks, sewers, which I don't mind working on the sewers. The sewers is fine. It's kind of poopy work, but somebody got to do it. And finance and litigation. That is so boring. I don't know anything about finance and litigation. You guys put me on the wrong thing there. But you know what? It is what it is, and we're doing what we can to make things a little better.
If you had to pick one thing that you wanted to concentrate on, what would it be?
Right now, the most important task at hand is getting employees. Currently, West Mayfield does not have any employees. We are in dire need. I don't know what it's going to take to get somebody in here, but I do know that the leaves are not going to pick themselves up. The weeds are not going to get whacked by themselves. Snow's not going to get plowed. Salt's not going to get thrown. There's a lot of things that our employees do here that keep this town going. Without them, our town's just going to decay. So the sooner we can get knowledgeable people in here, people who know what they're doing and are willing to work with council to get the job done, the sooner we can start moving forward. West Mayfield's old. It's not getting any younger. We need to start planning more for the future. Right now, we're behind. We're behind on everything. We're behind on streets. We're behind on most of our lighting's been changed, but there's a couple things. Maybe some signs. We got a lot of complaints about some new signs coming up. Some people want stop signs put in. Some people want speed bumps. Those are all things that need to be discussed. I can't guarantee that that's all stuff that needs done, but without employees, none of this is going to get taken care of. So that's my number one. Go ahead.
And is there a committee that maybe could try to get grants for Mayfield?
So that's grants, yes.
It's hard.
Recently, there haven't been a whole lot of grants. I actually found out about a grant right when I started. And I contacted the people and I said, hey, I heard there's a grant for the parks. And he said, Jake, you're too late. And I said, well, the deadline isn't for another, 6 or 7 days. He said, you don't have enough time. So it does take time. And maybe that's something that council needs to look into, is possibly hiring. Pat is Pat. Pat has been awesome. Mm-hmm. She is our borough secretary, and she's done this job a long time. But I don't think Pat's going to do this a whole lot longer. And maybe when we hire the next Pat, we might look into somebody who has some grant writing background, or even pay the difference. If you pay somebody, I'm just throwing numbers out there, and I don't mean any of these numbers, are factual. But if you pay somebody a reasonable wage to work on these grants that has the time, they're the borough secretary, they can handle the bills, they can handle, working. It's basically going to be a full-time job. And I think that that's something that we might need to lean towards. Because let's be honest, everybody up here at these tables, we all have jobs.
Yeah.
We go to work every day, and we don't have the time to sit down and spend 8 days writing out grants. I'm telling you right now, if you want a grant writer, it's not me. I don't think it's anybody at this table. I mean, Eli's capable of doing it, but the guy works 3 dang jobs. It's a very tough thing.
Michelle was
on the head of the grants.
And Michelle's no longer with us here. She didn't die. She just not with us.
Yeah, she was the one in charge of grants.
But yeah, I think that's something that, you know, council should definitely look at in the near future. Mr. Bill said.
You guys, I mean, I know that you don't have no one working for the borough. Did you get any candidates that came in for interviews? I know no one reads the paper no more.
Currently, we do have one that were.
Is there somebody that, did you get anybody that is like?
We need more than one.
Well, so here's the issue that we run
with one. It's the budget too. Number 2.
You don't put that all alone.
No.
Right, no, it's one of those things. The borough right now is, like we talked about earlier, behind in money. The budget is everything. When you run a borough, you're basically running a big household. If you don't have the money to pay for your lights, guess what you're not going to have? Lights. They don't care. We have raised our wages in hopes to try and get more people interested in the position, and I think we have. We had one application turned in. Eli and myself did the interview. I think the interview went well, and hopefully within the next week.
24 hours?
That'd be fantastic.
That'd be awesome.
We can have somebody on. But
Anybody disagree with that?
Yeah, we have 2 more interviews.
we have 2 more interviews to do, so hopefully we can get those scheduled and get somebody moving quickly.
24 hours.
No.
Jake, let me ask you a question about some pending business before council. Many citizens have complained for years about sitting on these hard chairs at a long council meeting.
Certainly.
Which is not
I've been there. I get it.
It's not a trivial matter for people who have hip issues and back issues, right? And so in the bigger picture, this is actually dissuasive for civic participation. Who wants to come sit at a meeting, be involved, right? So Councilmember Seibert has agreed to put a motion on the table to purchase new padded chairs for the council chambers. Probably around $700, $800, $900, 25, 30 chairs. I don't know. Is this something you could support?
I would support it. My only issue is I don't know where the money's coming from, so I can't say, yes, we can do that if I don't know if we have the money or not. Yes, I do support it. I think the chairs are uncomfortable. I would love to have a bigger space, more room. Every meeting that we've had recently has grown. We've got a lot more people coming in.
Yeah.
And now people are standing, and I personally will go back to the workshop and pull chairs out of there to give more people places to sit.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
Why can't you?
These chairs ain't no better.
These chairs are hard too. No.
It's a borough building, why can't you have it?
We can't afford the utilities.
This is the fire department.
Yeah.
It's not a borough building.
And we rent this out for hall rentals and that. Right now, we got to pay the gas, electric, and the water. We're on a budget.
Okay, Jake, do you have anything else?
No, you have any other questions for me?
We're going to move on to...
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you, Jake. Wonderful job. Okay.
Somebody you went to school with bought cake.
I didn't go to school with you either.
There must be a coup. There is coffee, iced tea, and cookies. Please help yourself if you need to stretch your legs. You can hear the next candidate talk from where he will be standing.
Yes.
Who went to school at Blackhawk, not Beaver Falls. This guy is one of the longest residents up here, businessman, very smart. He's been a president on council, been on council before, done great things in the community. I can't even begin to name them all. He's built responsible for building the bridge.
Covered bridge.
Right, the covered bridge, the war memorial down at across from the corner where we had our Jubilee for the
Centennial.
veterans. I mean, just unbelievable. He's honored us with this lighted spectacle of a sign that's now lit again. It's working.
What's that?
The light outside, Lou, the sign.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
that sign for us.
there are so many things. It's infinite. So, I'm going to introduce to you to Robert Tate.
Okay. I don't think anybody here doesn't know me. Is there anybody here that doesn't know me? Who are you? All right. As she said, I'll tell you what, I love this borough. I've been here almost 40 years. Never intended on moving out, never intend to move out. This is one of the best places around, the best place around. I raised my boys here. I've done tons of stuff for this borough. Like she named a couple things. When somebody asks for something, I usually volunteer. I've donated for everything here. I've donated for the baseball. I've donated to the fire department many times.
You coached baseball with me for 10 years now.
Well, yeah, I coached too. That wasn't fun. They said, "You want to be a manager?" I'm like, "How hard could that be?" Here's your bag of balls and bats. Make sure you're here at 4 o'clock every day. And that's when I used to work 12 hours a day. That was it, too. That's what you said. Here you go. But I learned from that never to volunteer for baseball again. But I actually didn't. I actually volunteer with the granddaughters, help them coach whenever they need somebody. But I don't know. You guys know me. Anybody got any questions? Dwayne.
All the years you've been in council, walk along, what's your major accomplishments?
My major accomplishments during council. Well, for the one, we went probably for a year or two. It kept coming up at the meetings. We need to do something about the memorial. We need to do something about the memorial. It's falling apart. The council did absolutely nothing. So I said, I will take care of it. I got my crew. We went in there. We tore all the old, it used to be 4 pillars standing up, if I remember right. Maybe 3 pillars, whatever it was. We tore them down. I went around to Home Depot, Cook Brothers, Morgan, is it Morgan Brothers downtown? All over the place. I got people to come in and they donated materials. I got guys to donate their time. We rebuilt the thing, okay? I didn't charge anything for that. I didn't make a dime. We needed a bridge. The bridge fell apart down there. I went to Home Depot. I said, we need materials for a bridge. They came up with the materials. I come up with my crew, my framers, my roofers, my carpenters. Everybody came together. We threw a bridge together. We painted it. Home Depot, while they were at it, they come down, they painted the buildings. We put, I redid a roof on the baseball, the garage, the concession stand with the garage. We did that roof too. I forgot about that. Just anytime anybody asked for something, what's his name? The Eagle Scout that did the baseball field. Burke. He called me. He said like the old backstop needs tore down. I took my guys, went down there. We tore down the old backstop for them. Pretty much, like I said, anything anybody asked, I pretty much did it. I found people to help. I love the place, and that's what makes the community. And we work together. Just almost 90% of us here got together. We pulled a crew together and did the centennial because I don't think the council wanted anything to do with that. So the mayor says, yeah, I'll do it. And she pulled all of us together and we went down, we painted, we cleaned. I painted that bridge by myself. Yeah, we did some mulching. We did a lot of work down there. Yeah. Just anytime anybody needs something, they come to me for some reason. I don't know.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
You did this council thing and then you didn't. And now you want to come back. Why do you want to come back?
Because they need me.
Yeah.
You need me. I walked away because things weren't going good at council.
Yes.
I was pretty much anything I wanted that got shot down. I was by myself pretty much. And council, I mean, this you see what's going on. You guys come to the meetings. You know what's going on. Things aren't getting done, basically. How long has our boomer been down?
Yeah.
Going on 2 years?
Yep.
Should have been fixed 2 years ago. There's nothing getting done. We have a street. We have streets. We had to hire a guy that weighed, I think, 400 pounds to take care of our streets. All he did was drive around in a truck and drive around on the lawnmower. And there's nobody here. Whoever's in charge doesn't have time. You put somebody in charge of a committee, that person needs to take care of their job. It's not happening. Jake, I think, was supposed to be. Well, Bill was in charge. Jake took.
Wendy was in charge. I was second in charge.
Oh, okay. But anyways, whoever's in charge has to make sure that things are done. Nothing's getting done.
I have nothing to do with it.
But you know, when we were on council before, we would get together as a group, look at the roads, see the condition they were in, the lights, all that stuff. That doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, I don't know what happens right now.
Yeah.
I walked away
I would
because
say nothing.
I didn't want my name associated with what was going on.
Well, you're interim code enforcer. Can you give us any stats as to what you accomplished since you
I get phone calls every day about cars, grass, weeds. So far, I think we got about 5 cars removed.
Yes.
A house down on West 3rd, there was all overgrown with trees and shrubs and stuff. He's got that stuff cut down now. Across the street from him, there was a car in high grass. The grass got cut, the car got taken out. I'm doing, whatever I can. I'm trying to get this place looking nice. I am, with the help of Tina. Now, Tina, she does all the typing for me, or, whatever you want to call it anymore. She writes the letters. She keeps track of what I do, when I do it. I think I'm doing a little better than what Chris was doing, because I'm not sure what he was doing.
You definitely are.
But they asked me, Lou brought it up to meetings. He says, does anybody want to be a code enforcer? Again, I volunteered.
You jumped.
I said, I'll do it interim, okay? I'm still interim until we find somebody that really wants to take the job, and I'll keep doing it, and as long as Tina keeps helping me. She's a big part of it. So, questions? Any other questions?
I have one more then. Okay. So you walked away before because you couldn't get the group to work together and do what needed to be done.
Correct.
How are you going to make that happen this time?
Well, I would think that if the right people all get elected, it's going to happen. And I think with all your help coming to make sure that we get our job done, and that's a big part of it. I think you guys are helping a lot. You guys show up at all the meetings. And we'll get you some chairs. We'll get you. At least we can do is get you cushions, right? If we can't afford the chairs, we're going to get you cushions, and I'll buy them if I have to. Okay?
Does the code enforcer have to be on council?
No, the code enforcer.
Well,
what is
give
it?
it to Tina.
He's going to have to type.
Yeah,
We do not want that to
happen. Well, I have a question. This goes to what Sue was getting at. So you were on council before, and you were council president, right? Mm-hmm. And I can't underscore enough how powerful that position is, right? The borough code empowers that position to really be the decision maker in the borough.
Right.
So you very well may be, because of your experience, be the next, should you be elected, the next president of council, perhaps. It's your job to turn down, I guess. So as a president, how would you not only run more effective meetings, and I think we covered that quite a bit here, right? There are ways, there's this resolution of decorum that seems to have widespread support. However, when it comes to committees, I think a lot of people realize that committees aren't being held to account. Reports aren't given. There's no expectation of a written report, of course. Would you enforce something like that?
I would.
That there will be a report, and it will be perhaps a written report that can be entered into the public record?
Yep, for sure. That's what we need. If you don't want to run, if you want to sit on the council, you better be ready to do a report. You better be able to, you have to be doing what you're supposed to be doing. If you're in charge of the streets, I want you in charge. I want you doing what we need in the streets. If you're in charge of that man right there, you got to make sure. When I was in charge, I was actually in charge of the streets. I was in charge of the parks for a while. And when I was in charge of the parks, I helped Barry Emge, brought him in, and he took care of all the fields. He got all the fields back in shape because they were bad. They were in really bad shape. He came in, he took care of all that. That's when I was doing all the work on the buildings and the bridge and everything. Then I was on the streets. When I was on the streets, I would call Tommy every day, and I would say, "Where are you guys at? What are yous doing?" Yeah. I didn't have a list for them because they did what they'd been there longer than me. Yeah. They knew what they were to do, but I would make sure, like, I'd see them out in Chippewa. I'd say, "What are you doing?" Yeah. "Well, we're here to pick up some nails." "Why is there two guys here? Why does it take two guys to pick up a box of nails?" But that's my work. I was a contractor all my life. And I know how to run a business. And I did pretty well at it. I retired and I'm still working. Because I can't sit around. Okay? But that's what I do. I tell you what to do. I tell you what to do. I tell you what to do. You go do it. That's how I've always been. And then whenever new people came in, I got bumped off of streets and moved to one of the better ones, which was finance and litigation that nobody likes to do. And at that time, I took it. I didn't know a thing about it. I knew a lot more about streets and parks and stuff than I did about finance and litigation, but I can't argue with other presidents. So as I was a finance and litigation, I started I talked to Patterson Township. They said, you can get free equipment. You got to start a program. You got to start a recycle program. So I got the recycling program going, which helped us to get the truck and the chipper. Our bank account, we were getting a big $3 a month in interest. So I talked to Pat. We went to my bank, and now we're getting over $300 a month in interest. So that's what I did with finance and litigation. So I do my part. When I'm on there, I make sure I get my stuff done. And if I'm elected, I'm still going to do that.
Now, should you be elected president by your peers, which potentially could be removed by your peers,
right?
But should you be elected president, would you be open to restructuring the committees that we have to be more attentive to today's requirements of our boroughs? For example, so we have a finance and litigation. Why not a finance litigation and economic development committee? Why not a communication committee that has to deal with oversight of our public records, ordinances, and so forth, which Pat does. But I will tell you, we do not have, we're one of 5 municipalities in the county that does not have a designated public records officer. that could be part of a communications committee. And some boroughs in the Commonwealth actually do have a communication committee that handles that sort of thing. So my question really is about, would you be open to restructuring our committees so that we're more responsive to the needs of today's local government?
Sure. Whatever we could do. I don't know, I'm really not, I don't know a whole lot about that. But, that's stuff we'd have to do as we go.
But you're open to the idea?
Sure.
Okay. And if I could ask you a question about, as a businessman, economic development, what do you see the potential here in the borough as being? Can we increase our economic base? Whichever, we don't have much of one to begin with, but is it possible?
Like bringing money in?
Businesses, yeah, revenue through commercial opportunities.
Oh, I'd love to see, if we were offered lots down there from the mill years ago. I don't know. I think we declined that maybe because the old parking lots. I think we declined that because we didn't know what was underground.
Correct.
In case we'd be buying or getting something that might need it. Yeah. But I'd love to see more. I'm always about more business. About raising taxes and stuff, that's kind of hard because I know years ago we were 90% elderly, and how do you do that to the people that can't even afford this? They're complaining about the garbage going up, how do you just, we've gone a long time without raising taxes, and that's great about West Mayfield, but at the same time, we're probably going to have to eventually do something if we can't get more business. You only have so much space for business.
Yeah.
But I'm always willing to work with somebody. I'm actually working with the guys down here right now, hoping to get them into the 2nd Avenue industrial building down here, which don't know if that's going to happen because of sprinkler systems. That could be a deal killer. But they're the second ones I was working with. I was working with some other ones. They had a concrete company, but they walked out. So just,
Okay. The last question I would have for you, and then if you were done, then we could probably spend the remainder of the 15 minutes or so open to the floor. Would you support a review of the fire service, and including an open-minded question of whether we need to put a fire service tax on the borough? I believe we can raise 3 mills by law. I think, Eli, you may know, 3 mills for a fire tax, which may be something we do or don't, but it's something that we should consider.
I would support that. I'm not looking to shut down the fire department. I'm not looking to go to another department if it's going to cost us more money. But what I see is I think we need new management in the fire department. It's been the same people for how many years now? You, Lou, your sister. Who's the officers here?
That's who they nominate.
Jamie, they all get nominated.
How?
We don't
You
pick.
say maybe you have 10 members.
We don't pick.
Maybe.
They get nominated by who they are, and we're certified.
The problem is we can't get members here.
Nobody can anywhere.
Well, maybe we need new management. Did you ever think of that?
It doesn't mean management. Go elsewhere. Everybody's hurting like this. Everybody.
We don't have a women's auxiliary.
Not right now.
You're not allowed to because you're too old. She's too old. These people are all too old here, right?
I didn't write the bylaws up yet. I got to.
Do you have a copy of the bylaws?
No, I don't have them.
Boots.
I do.
Boots was what, 80-some, making pies back
Maple
here?
was 99, and then Boots took over, and then they changed them. They changed them.
Who has a copy of the bylaws we can look at?
Are we here for the
That's why he asked me a question, and I think we need new management.
Okay, that's a fair
It's been the same management for way too many years. We need new people.
Why don't you join the fire department then?
Because I can't get along with you.
Well, that's what
Okay, let me bring this back to council. So council ultimately has responsibility to the citizens to ensure adequate fire service, right? Is that a role you're willing to take on as a new council member?
Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Any other questions?
We can open it up to the floor.
Go for it.
You've done a lot of volunteering, your time and money and whatever. We really do appreciate all you've done.
Thank you.
I need my bathroom remodeled.
I'll put you on the list.
I just want to thank you for all you've done. You really have done a lot.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
I enjoy doing it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robert.
Welcome.
Okay, you are all welcome to start mingling right now up at this table and this table with all your questions.